just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies.
Well, then maybe we should go a different route than we did with Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, put a chick in it and make her name it gay!
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
Baby deer, put a chick in it, make her gay!
And the idea that some of us think we're really great people, but in the real world we're not. We're terrible people.
There you are, Miss Kennedy, the linguine and clam sauce.
Excuse me, I believe I asked you to put a chick in this and make her gay.
Or you can make bad choices.
Well, you make bad choices, but you run your life in a very selfish way, and you think you're doing good when you're actually not.
And if you're going to keep things from me, then you'd better put a chick in it and make it f***ing gay as f***.
At the same time, those people who may not play by the rules because they're selfish and greedy turn themselves into evil people who don't care about other people.
Look, I don't want to have to say it, but I think the problem is Kathleen Kennedy.
There you go.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it's been several weeks, it feels like, since the South Park special Enter the Panderverse came out, and apparently executives at Disney are still excruciatingly booty blasted about it, carrying a lot of rage. And generally, in my experience, when you have people get the maddest, you're generally the most over the target. And Kathleen Kennedy is somebody that the nerd community has been fantasizing about being fired probably for the past, I don't know, 5 years or so, ever since she drove Star Wars into the ground and Indiana Jones franchise also into the ground even further, one might argue. But now a new report shows that the executives definitely saw the episode and it's affecting their day-to-day life. I wonder if they're going to need therapy. Let's get into this story. By the way, today we launched at Coffee Brand Coffee our winter collection. That's right, our brand new peppermint, or relaunch of the peppermint hot cocoa. That's real cacao cocoa, best made with milk. Also, 3 holiday flavors. We have a peppermint mocha coffee, vanilla sugar cookie coffee, and then I'm trying something new. If you like dark roast, you're going to want to try our Silent Night Silky Dark Roast. It is our darkest roast yet, and I have a feeling it's going to be a huge hit. I have a feeling if you like dark roast, people are going to love it. Promo code November Flavors. November Flavor, one word, to save 10%. Remember, these are seasonal, so grab yours today. I'll leave a link to this collection in the description. Disney executives reportedly butthurt over South Park joining the Panderverse special, this via boundingintocomics.com. South Park joining the Panderverse, released on Paramount Plus at the end of October, and it took a number of criticisms at the Walt Disney Company and heavily lampooned Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. The episode also turned Kennedy into a meme, mocking her vision as a producer by repeating the same tired, failed formula. Specifically, Eric Cartman as Kathleen Kennedy informs Disney how to make their movies, put a chick in it, make her lame and gay. And I mean, that's essentially what we've seen from Disney for, I don't know, it seems like forever. In the past how many years, it's been the same garbage over and over again. And again, having a chick lead does not make it inherently bad. But being this lazy does. Following the release of the episode, Midnight's Edge reported on rumors that they had heard what the reactions at Disney were in fact like. The channel's founder, Andre Einherjar, sorry, Andre, I know we've been on a podcast before. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your last name. Quote, "What we heard is that the powers in Disney and Lucasfilm, like everyone else, knew the episode was coming, and they knew it was going to have a go at them, but they didn't know in advance exactly which way. And what they saw allegedly went beyond anything they ever imagined than even their worst nightmares," he continued. Next, he shared, quote, "The behind-the-scenes response then at Disney was a mix of shock, embarrassment, feelings of betrayal, and overall butthurt." To me, I think that's pretty curious. It's pretty curious that you know, they would even care. It's not like they care about having, you know, movie after movie, flop after flop. I mean, they're about to roll out the Marvels right now, Stronger, Further, Faster, Together, with 3 chicks in it, with a chick director and a chick main villain. And it's currently tracking to be the worst performing Marvel movie in history. Now, I still don't believe, I refuse to believe that the Marvels will do as bad as everybody's reporting. I think, in my experience, the Marvel machine is still real. They're out there promoting it. They're spending money on renting the dome in Vegas and things like that. So I find it hard to believe that it would tank as bad as people are saying, but we are in a new era. Quote, there apparently were some lines of communication between Disney and Paramount over the course of the weekend. But from what I gather, it was very little constructive came out of it, as apparently many in Disney's end were a tad emotional, especially the true believers of the woke cause, as South Park just gave it a black eye, he continued. The minor lip service that was towards criticizing YouTubers and who would send Kathleen Kennedy hate mail was apparently very little consolation. To be honest, in terms of the special, I didn't think they got that part right, because it was a chicken or the egg scenario, and they implied that YouTubers and, you know, content creators, people on Twitter, were criticizing Kathleen Kennedy before they had a reason to, but that's not the case. Most people didn't know or care who Kathleen Kennedy was until she destroyed their beloved franchises. I mean, that's just the reality of it. The description of Kennedy appears to be confirmed by the former Mandalorian actress Gina Carano, who shared a bit of satire to X detailing Kennedy's behavior. We'd already talked about this a little bit, but this is the part where Kathleen Kennedy demands that any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down button because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicists, ghouls, make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. I mean, it's possible. You know, it's certainly possible. And you see, amid South Park jabs, Kathleen Kennedy rumored to be the source of the, quote, disgusting behavior at Lucasfilm. Look, I think that, you know, particularly, you know, I've also been kind of sucked into these many rumors about, you know, Kathleen Kennedy getting fired. I mean, I don't know how many $100, $200, $300 million flops this woman has to have underneath her Louis Vuitton belt before they get rid of her. At this point, I don't think there's any amount of criticism that would get Disney to get rid of her. I think she's only going to leave under her own volition. She'll go on, she'll fail up, she'll go to somewhere else who has a legendary IP of something people love and destroy that too, because that's how Hollywood works. Now, it's by now you've probably read about or even seen the newest episode of South Park, which takes aim at Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm. South Park, the no-holds-barred top-rated animated comedy, has been pushing the envelope since 1997. No one, and we mean no one, is safe from the ridicule of South Park. The newest episode of South Park set its sights on Disney's reported efforts at diverse casting, throwing a few jabs at Kathleen Kennedy along the way. Kennedy, who's been in the helm of Lucasfilm for years now, is loved by many and hated by even more, who ultimately hold her responsible for what the fans consider poor Star Wars product since her coronation. I mean, the Force is female, right? Everyone remembers that shirt. Everyone remembers what she did there. And the weirdest thing is, there's like two places, Hollywood and government, where failure is, you know, financial failure is not a reason to get terminated. I don't understand how anybody could objectively look at just the box office around the projects this woman has touched, and keep her employed. I mean, she's lost Disney $1 billion or more. She's completely burnt everyone out on the Star Wars product. Marvel, woke Marvel, been completely burned. Now, that's Kevin Feige, to be fair, and he deserves plenty of his own criticism. He did get glossed over a lot in the South Park episode, and I will say that Kevin Feige is absolutely also pushing the message. Remember when he came out and said, Captain Marvel's the strongest superhero we've ever had, and you should pay to see her movie because women. And then they talk about, Kathleen Kennedy is an Academy Award winner, has been part of the big story on the Star Wars side of Disney. Kennedy is responsible for abysmal failures, such as Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, Solo, A Star Wars Story, has been a forefront of thought of Star Wars fans when they consider the current state of Lucasfilm and the, quote, woke productions that many feel are being force-fed to their audience. Not one to miss an opportunity to capitalize on the voice of unpopular opinions of the public, South Park has now immortalized what many think is wrong with the thinking of Disney executives like Kennedy and Bob Iger. The young kids from Colorado have a knack for keeping their pulse on the perpetual nerve endings of the entertainment elite, and after Iger and Kennedy continue to march forward towards forced inclusion and diversity, which isn't even an actual issue, they're perfect source material for what seems to be is like Parker and Stone's best work yet. I wouldn't say that this was their best work yet. It hits home now, for a lot of us in the nerd community. But other than that, I'd say it was good. I still think there were some things they got wrong, but I'm also probably being biased. Of course, long before Kenny McCormick, Eric Cartman, Stan Marsh, and Kyle Broflovsky took aim at Kathleen Kennedy, Kenny had already found herself at war with actress Gina Carano, most famous of her role as Cara Dune in the first season of The Mandalorian at Disney+. We all know how that shook out. It's well known that South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone have no qualms about touching sensitive subjects. In fact, they made a career out of creating characters and storylines that purposefully create a rise out of an audience to incite publicity and demand. Well, I think that you look at the backlash after joining the Panderverse hasn't necessarily gone as one might assume, although there are plenty upset with the South Park's antics regarding Disney and their assumed agenda regarding pushing race and gender fluidity into their media. Many are praising their efforts of the Comedy Central hit show and not shying away from what can be considered a misuse of influence and power by Disney. I think that, ultimately, I think a lot of people, the quiet majority, agreed with this. In fact, you can see Carano is back from the dead. You see, now that you're all caught up regarding what's going on, South Park and Disney, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, let's bring Gina Carano back into the fold. As reactions to season 26 episode of South Park spread like wildfire across the internet, new information regarding Kennedy and Lucasfilm has potentially come to light, and some of it damning to say the least. Carano wasted no time reacting to the episodes, so she put this out. I know long thread. I'm not going to reread that. I've already read that in several other videos. So essentially they're saying, Carano, has been kind of just quietly doing her own thing. And it says, should South Park and Carano be worried? No, I don't think so. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think that it's pretty hilarious that they're having they're this butthurt about it, because quite frankly, that must mean that South Park was 100% correct. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.